Good morning, children. Welcome back to today's session. Children, in the last class we have introduced you the national liberation movement in colonies. So under this unit we were trying to understand about the national liberation movements that took place in China, Vietnam and Nigeria. So yesterday I told you about a brief socio-economical history of China, where we discussed about the person like Sun Yat-sen, who is considered as a father of modern China. Today I further share with you about the KMT party, that is the Kuomintang party, and the leader Chiang Kai-shek, and even about the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and its leader Mao Zedong. So the Kuomintang party has a social base only in the urban areas of China, and industrial growth was very slow in China at that time. By 1919, an industrial working class of around 5 lakh people had appeared in cities like Shanghai in China. So these cities became the center of modern growth in the development of China. However, only a small percentage of the people were employed in modern industries such as shipbuilding, and most were pretty urbanites. They are called as Zhao Shimin, or they are called as traders and shopkeepers. The urban workers, particularly women, earned very low wages in this condition, and they were now organizing themselves into trade union. So the working class were long, working hours were very long, and conditions of work were also very bad. As ideas of freedom became popular, there was a growing concern for the women's rights. Many schools and universities came up to help in the social and cultural changes. And it was during this period that the famous Peking University got established in 1902, and journalism also started, reflecting the growing attraction of this new thinking. China was a conservative, and he encouraged, Chiang Kai-shek was a conservative, and he encouraged women to have 4 virtues, and these virtues were chastity, appearance, speech and work. He thought that women's role should be limited only to the household, but he never encouraged for the women to participate in the development of the economy and in the industries. So even he prescribed the length of the hemlines. Hemlines are nothing but the long frocks which are worn by the Chinese women. So he used to prescribe the hemlines, the length of the frocks, and he also tried to suppress the trade union movements which took place during his period. And the Kuomintang, despite its attempts to unite the country, failed because of its narrow social base and limited political vision. And a major plan in Sun Yat-sen's program was to control the capitalists and to control and to equalize the land. But this was never carried out because the party ignored the peasantry. Peasantry is nothing but farmers. So they have ignored the farmers, and they went on only with the industrial workers and with the industrialization. So the dream of a Kuomintang party to unite the country and to stabilize never became fruitful. It only tried to impose the military orders rather than addressing the problems faced by them, and with force you cannot achieve the unity. And it was after the rise of the Communist Party of China, it's a major change which took place. CCCP, that is Chinese Communist Party, the Communist Party of China we call it as. So when the Japanese invaded China in 1937, the Kuomintang party withdrew themselves. There was a long and exhausting war had made China weak. Between 1945 and 1949, the prices rose up by 30%. All this had completely destroyed the lives of the ordinary people of China. So rural China faced 2 important crises, children. One, the ecological crisis, that is nothing but the soil erosion problem or exhaustion or deforestation and floods. And the second problem is the socio-economic one caused by exploitation through the land tenure system by the landlords, and indebtedness, primitive technology followed by these people, and poor communications. The CCP, which had been founded in 1921, the Chinese Communist Party got formed in 1921, soon after the Russian Revolution, because of the Russian Revolution got spread to many other countries, because Russian Revolution set an example for the success of the working class. So soon after the Russian Revolution, with its influence, the CCP party got formed in Russia. and there was a commitarian which was held in March 1918, which was attended by the leaders of many other countries, which was led by Lenin. And the commitarian and the Soviet Union supported the communist parties around the world, and but they followed the traditional Marxist idea that only the working class in the cities could bring a revolution. And the same thing was not believed by the leader of the Communist Party of China, that is Mao Zedong. And Mao Zedong lived from 1893 to 1976. He emerged as a major leader of CCP. He took a different path by basing his revolutionary program on the peasantry. He organized the Chinese peasants to fight for the abolition of the landlordism. He also built an army of peasants, and millions of landless peasants joined the struggle led by the CCP. His success made the CCP a powerful political party. It ultimately won against the Kuomintang party led by Chiang Kai-shek. Mao Zedong radical approach can be seen in Jiangxi in the mountains, where they camped from 1928 to 1932. They camped in the Jiangxi hills until 1934. They camped in the Jiangxi hills and in order to secure from the Kuomintang attacks. A strong peasant council called as Soviets were also organized, the same Soviets which we have seen during the Russian Revolution. This council united through confiscation and redistribution of the land from the landlords. And Mao, unlike other leaders, stressed on the need for an independent government and army. He had become aware of the women's problems also and supported the emergence of Rural Women's Association. He also promoted a new marriage law that forbade arranged marriages and stopped the purchase or sale of the marriage contracts and simplified the divorce. Even if the woman disliked any of the marriage done by their parents, they can easily divorce. There were no cumbersome lawful process involved in it. The Communist Soviet party was forced to find another base for themselves because of the Kuomintang party blockade. They went on a long march in 1934 to 1935. This is called as a Red March, long march in the year 1934 to 1935. From 1928 to 1934, they were living in the Jiangxi hills, but due to the Kuomintang party blockade, they have to move to a new place, that is Shanghai. So this is a distance of 6,000 miles. It was a difficult journey. It was a grueling and a difficult journey for them. They had set up their new base at Yan'an in 1935. Yan'an. So here they further developed their program to end the landlordism, and this twin agenda of land reform and nationalization made them successful and created a strong social base for them. When Japan attacked China between 1937 to 1945, they tried to impose a cruel colonial military rule over China, and this had a disastrous impact on the Chinese society and even on the economy. Both Kuomintang party and CCP now tried to join together to fight against the colonial power of Japan. After the surrender of Japan to the US in August 1945, that is the end of the Second World War, Kuomintang and CCP fought together for control over the mainland of China. But while Kuomintang party was forced to set up its government only on the island of Taiwan, and the mainland was under the control of the CCP. This is how the CCP came to power after 1945. So the People's Republic of China government got established in 1949. It was based on the principle of new democracy. In next class, we shall learn about the reforms brought by this Chinese Communist Party in China and what is the reason for the last 70 years they are in power. Thank you, children.